Good evening, one and all, and welcome to the gateway to your week. It's a Celtic supporters podcast, and we have a fucking good show tonight. We have zero agenda, we have zero planned, but we are going to have an absolute fucking belter tonight as well. You guys have all been here today as well because we went from a weekend of absolute dog shite to a Monday, which was maybe making the whole Celtic thing a wee bit more palatable. But I say a wee bit because we're going to go through some stuff tonight, get a few things off our chest as well, and actually start to think of what the hell is going on at Celtic Park. Anyway, gentlemen, before we go, obviously we want to have a wee thank you to our sponsors. We have two main sponsors for the podcast. Adalantes.com is our clothing sponsor. Please go to www.adalantes.com. Use the code CSP5 for £5 off your order. And our other sponsor is Pro Sport Media. They're Dennis. Please follow them all on your socials for all the latest from the world of football. Anyway, before we get into the whole Celtic thing, Barry, my man, how was your weekend, son? Please give me a good rundown of how your weekend was, please, brother.
Trust me, don't want to know. Next question. It was carnage, wasn't it, man? Big Scott picked us up at 7:30 on Saturday morning. And pass. It was just a blur for there. So, but listen, it was a good, as always, isn't it? It's good to go out and about. Big Andy was through for a few after it. So it was, I dare say if it wasn't there, I'd maybe just have went straight home. But I didn't. Shocker. And I paid for it this morning on the 5:40. So I'm going to do my usual Monday somersault into bed, but I can promise it's the last Monday I'm going to be like this. There you go, you heard it here first. How was yours, Hoggy?
Mine's was all right, mate, largely uneventful because I didn't join you on your Saturday morning 7:30 pickup. I also didn't join you in the pub afterwards because just with the way that the day went and a few other things that went as well, I would have absolutely tore the face off of somebody. I'm not a violent man at all. But there was just a series of things as well that just lined up as well to make Saturday a very unpalatable day for me. So I went home, turned my phone off and fucking said goodbye to the world for a good wee while there as well. So yes, mine was actually no too bad, mate. Other than obviously the obvious of getting your ass handed to you for the Huns. But hey, listen, at the end of the day, listen, we over years as well have taken as much or given as much shite out as well. Sometimes that gets thrown back at you a wee bit, mate, as well. So I'll have stand there with my big boy pants on and take whatever they give us. And I'm sure that as we go tonight, I'm usually quite behind on the comments. So if anybody does see any infiltrators, please point them out and I'll run down to the bottom of that as well. And as always, I've been given advice as well just to anybody that's at controls, just delete them as well. But as always, guys, if you've got something to say in our podcast as well, we will give you the platform. Make it original, make it funny. Here's something that can join in with. If you're just into spout shite and spout hateful stuff as well, then I'll say cheerio the new. But anyway, Andy boy, how was your weekend, son?
It was good. Obviously good catching up with you guys and all the other guys on the bus and lassies and whatever. And then getting back to the pub with Bhoys, spending a bit of time with him. So it was good to catch up. Good to be at Celtic Park again. With Paul as well, obviously, you know, right. At the game and his crowd as well for his bus. Just a not a very good outcome, but I think, you know, we were all buzzing with the first half. I'm sure we'll maybe get into that. There's other things to talk about tonight, but good to be on here. Maybe good timing for your point of view that this has all happened today. So it's be good to hear everybody else's opinions as well. So yes. Get your comments in, and we'll try and get through as many as we possibly can.
Yeah, as always, Andy, you're spot on there, mate, as well. Anybody that is seeing the CSP for the first time or second time or third time that's not hit the subscribe button yet as well, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, do all that stuff. I've said to the guys, we're going to have a wee chat midweek about the membership stuff. I said that to you going in 2025 there as well, that we are kicking this year off and we will be doing something about that this week, probably to kick off next week. So anybody that wants to become a member, a fully pledged member of the CSP community, and we will have that option for you in the coming days, which will mean as well that obviously it's a paid kind of membership stuff. There'll be a couple of levels to that as well, and there will be some stuff available at each level, but we'll have a chat about that. As all the proceeds to that as well obviously will go to help running the podcast, but anything over and above, we do not see any profits at all. Those profits will be invested in the community that we serve, whether that be Celtic community, whether that be the community that just needs a wee bit of hand and stuff, we will be looking to give money away as much as take it in there as well. So anybody that wants to become a member will be helping people that's less fortunate than yourself, and we will be looking for help from the community to do that. It's not just something that we'll go and decide. We'll be looking for you guys to help us there. But anyway, Andy, you're right. Celtic usually post updates at the most kind of cryptic times, 10 o'clock at night, Friday nights every weekend. But they've given us a wee bit of good news on a Monday. And after all of the talk, the fluff, the we back our manager, we this, we that, they have made the decision today to relieve Mr. Wilfried Nancy of his duties and his backroom team at Celtic Park. So I'm not going to ask what your feelings are towards it. I can probably guess what your feelings are, but just what's your thoughts overall to what's happened today? Is it surprised you in one way or another? What are you thinking?
I know probably majority of people aren't surprised. I'm actually surprised because I didn't think they would pull the trigger. I really couldn't see it. I actually said in the last pod, I think they're willing to let the house burn down rather than admit their failings. So, we've seen Nancy leaving and Tisdale. So he looks to be the sacrificial lamb, or the two of them. But it's still the same people that we are relying on to make the decision and to bring a new manager in, which is quite concerning from my point of view. I've got to be honest with you. So it's very interesting time. We've just come into January and we're looking for the fourth manager of the season. That tells you where the problems are. It's for the people that are making the big decisions or fail to make the big decisions, proper ones. I think the spotlight, people seem to think the spotlight is going to drift away from him now. I think it's firmly at their door and won't be moving anytime soon. The only saving grace I've got is they're going to get somebody in who's going to really steady the ship and push his own, because from that point of view, we've still got stuff to play for. So we'll just need to wait and see what happens with who comes in and whatever.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because we're going to veer off and on and off at different kind of subject matters as well as this pod goes on tonight. But one of the things that's quite a stark reminder of what's going on there as well. Obviously, the manager is the leader of the football side as well. But you've got, as you kind of touched on there, Andy, you've got the I suppose the limelight is kind of firmly back in the hands now of the people that run the club, the business side of it, because that's the ones that you now entrust in the decision, which is, again, we spoke about next one being the most important one. Obviously, the next one is the most important one, but you've not got Tisdale, who's the director of your football operations, to drive you in this kind of decision. So, Barry, is this something for you that you think that the board or the operating kind of board at Celtic with the CEO and stuff like that, is this something that you think a fresh set of eyes on that squad? Or do you think that this is something for, let's play the safe card here as well, let's get back to the well, as we always seem to do, and that's no relation to me talking about Motherwell managers, by the way. Let's get back to the well and pick somebody that's already known, already loved, and get a wee bit of love back for us very, very quick. It's a safe and quick option for many people as well to go back to that well of tapping into the love and respect that you've got for people there. Is this the time to be doing that again? Or do you think that operating board can and should be trusted to appoint somebody brand new to the club?
Well, I wouldn't go so far to say we trust him with anything, but Andy said he was surprised. It was the right decision, but I'm still surprised they done it, because I thought if it was going to happen, it would have been straight away. But I'm glad it is. I hear Sean Maloney and Stephen McManus are in for training tomorrow. So I would say you need a wee comfort blanket for the time being. Mm-hmm. Until such times as you get who it is you're looking for, and I think that comes in the form of wee Sean, because he's been there just. I mean, what was that? 37 days? Did I read that right? Was it 33 or 37 days?
33.
And even then, it was overdue.
It was 37 days.
Is that what it was? Is that what it was? And I just think and even then it was overdue. It was due the punt. I mean, it's been just a crazy few weeks, and you know my thoughts on it. I wasn't for it to begin with. I would have cut it at the cup final, which has always been my shout. But for the time being, certainly for the next few days, maybe even the next couple of games, you've got to hope that behind the scenes they are working on who they actually want, or there's a few options, isn't there? Sean just takes it because he's taking the training. Does he take it until they get somebody? Does he take it to the end of the season? But you're right in what you say, Hoggy. Just for the time being, just get them in, show the love, get the confidence back, play them the way they're meant to play. It's no hard, it's no rocket science, and just start getting the victories again, because 6 defeats in 8, I don't think I've ever had that in my lifetime. With Celtic, I might be right. I've not looked it up, but that can't be. That can't be.
That was 7 and 9 now.
7 and 9. Still just try to banish it, Hoggy. So I was going to say something else there, but I just, do you know what? I genuinely don't know. Folk have been messaging me. Who do you want? Who do you think? I genuinely don't know. But I think if it was St Martin, what's the hold up? It would already be in. So I don't think it's him, in my own opinion.
Yeah, I think Kevin is unfortunately able to make it on to the pod tonight. But Kevin was at one of the audiences with Martin O'Neill on Sunday up at DL Park. And you know what my feelings are. And again, anybody else that's out there as well, I'm going to drop this one in there. See, voice notes, they're a pile of shite, right? Just type the message out. Save me I hate voice notes. I hate speaking on the phone and I hate voice notes, right? But Kevin gave us one on Sunday, and I thought I'll give this one a wee listen. And he said that Martin was asked, obviously, his opinion on.
I'm going to get you one, Hoggy.
What's that say?
I hate people.
I'm getting close to it, mate. I'm getting close to it. My wee tether's getting fucking shorter and shorter, mate. But Kevin had said that one of the questions that Martin was asked and had to field on Sunday was, what's next at Celtic. He was asked about Sean Maloney and Mark Fotheringham. And he said that 2 of them were exceptional coaches, and he would trust them to basically do a job at Celtic, but maybe just with an older statesman to mentor them through the kind of first year of that, which again is kind of sounding like he's talking about the perfect setup as he being that elder mentor and they 2 been sitting in there.
Surely you knew that last month.
But here's the thing, and I picked this up as well on the statement. We're not going to read statements tonight as well. But the last thing that was on the Celtic statement was that, and it went to the effect of, we will let you know what's happening as soon as practical. Not as soon as possible, as soon as practical, Andy. And I'm looking at that and thinking, what the fuck does that mean? Right, we'll give you an update as soon as possible, but we'll give you an update as soon as practical. What could potentially be the difference with as soon as possible, I'll let you know, or as soon as it's practical? Is it they've got something going on there, they know that they're working on, that this is there, or is this? Am I just looking into words and putting a picture that shouldn't be put into my head?
Well, they've got to have something out there. They've got to be doing work. I mean, I know you're saying it's happened so sudden and all that, and obviously after that defeat on Saturday was the last straw. But again, I'm going to say that this is the people we are relying on to bring in a new manager. One thing's for sure, Hoggy, is that it can't be another experiment. It's got to be an established manager, a real kind of figurehead, to be in that position. They will not take the chance. So I know a few people had mentioned the Motherwell manager, and I think I actually mentioned it after the Motherwell game, or the pod after that. But I don't think it's going to be MD like that. My personal opinion, I'd love Ange back, but I don't think he's the type of person to go back anywhere. So I don't think that is going to happen. I personally think it might be Martin O'Neill with Sean Maloney again to at least the end of the season.
Yeah.
And listen, I've got absolutely no problem with that, because I would rather, if the right man isn't there the now, then just guide us through the now to the right man is available, because we can't afford to be making the wrong appointment again. No, when you're looking at a 4th manager since the start of the season, that in itself is an absolute disgrace.
Yeah, it's not the track record of competent professionals. I would say there as well, and whether that decision to do what we've done this season has been led by your football operations or been led by your operation board, there's certainly not exactly a vote of confidence that you're going to give them as well in what they've done so far. But I'm going to park that a wee second, as I say, as we'll jump between bits. But I want to just go back to the game on Saturday. We were obviously there, and we watched it firsthand. And I've got to say, you know, the first half of that game, you know, and this is what I want to kind of dig into is, you know, what comes after that. The first half of that game, I've got to say, there was some bits of that first half as well that really impressed me. That really impressed me, the way of the style of play that he had there, the short passing, the finding space, the exposing the flanks, it was actually quite good to watch. Barry, I see your face. I don't know if you're reading comments or you're reacting to my words here as well, mate. But
I take it Paul has been watching, because Celtic fan 839. I was just about to say, you better watch his saying before Paul comes on, and there's Paul calling him out there. Hoagie, the first half, I was thinking about it earlier on, and it's not so much night and day as Jekyll and Hyde. It was I mean, the team that came out for the second half was just unrecognisable for the team that we've seen in the first half. I don't think I'm exaggerating it, but realistically, three, maybe three, could have been three. And there was a feeling as well, in the stadium as well, that this is a bit of a canter here, and then just a switch was flicked at half time, and I know you're probably going to read and hear a lot of nonsense about tactical master change at half time and change the tactic. I don't even think it was that. I just think, well, once we got under a bit of pressure, we fell to bits. But it was night and day for as I say, Jekyll and Hyde for the first half to the second half. A few great performances in the first half. Somebody asked in the chat earlier, is Jan coming good? Well, what I will say about him is he was far and away the best player we had. Certainly the first hour, I'd say. He was trying his heart out, a cracking goal as well. So I don't know is the honest answer, but I don't know much. But I can't make sense of much that's going on at Celtic now. But first half wise, Hoagie, it was a total canter, but it just went rang in the second, didn't it?
Is it as easy as diagnosing it as we have done in other games this season? Because it's been a common theme for us playing. It's been first half dominant, missing too many chances. Now, there was a couple of worldly saves as well that the goalie pulled off. But again, it was one of the dominant performances. We dominated. We had so many chances. We only scored one goal. And you get in there, is that, as Barry's saying as well, is that a kind of mindset that comes out in the second half? Because on Friday, we spoke about managed decline and sabotaging, right? There's a bit of me that thinks as well that there's no fucking professional football team that can come out and be so Jekyll and Hyde without there being something happened, without there being something there to make it that bad. You cannot go from as good as we were to giving that Rangers manager credit for making a tactical change or a shape change to suddenly come out and absolutely bobby us. It was such a drastic change in performance that I can't put that down to a manager just getting the wee knack on us.
No.
Is it as simple as that, or is there more to it, you think?
That's what bamboozled the Celtic support in that second half. Was I can't believe what I'm watching here. It was like watching two different games, two different teams, from one half to the other. Rangers made a change. I think it was Monday that came on, and he seemed to have more control of midfield after that. Now, then you've got individual mistakes as well taking part in that. You know, got to account for Ralston getting the ball away and different things like that. Passes just weren't coming on. Or coming off, sorry, and they seem to get a grip of the game. And then I think individual errors come in. You've got a keeper should be doing better. Ralston should be doing better. When the pressure's on these guys, or when their confidence is lacking a wee bit, because they were super confident in the first half, but as soon as any kind of change, and then you've got to look at Nancy as well, that it doesn't look capable of changing anything to adapt to changes in the other team, if you know what I mean. I actually questioned whether he actually scouts the team that he's playing, because it seemed to be all about it's just the way we play and it doesn't really matter the way other teams play, we are going to play this way. You can't do that, because good managers, and I'm not saying Danny Rowe's a good manager, by the way, but he's got tactical nouns to realise that something was gone wrong and he changed it. I don't think Nancy had the ability to even look at the bench and think, right, how do I change this up? He basically just swaps the players about, but playing the same way, and it just doesn't work like that. I think he get really, really found out on Sunday, and it was absolutely. I was standing beside Paul, and he's like, "What is?" I can't believe what I'm watching here. I actually can't believe that we are losing this game. I couldn't believe it. So I think, to be fair, as surprised as I was that they actually made the decision, the writing was going to be on the wall. It certainly was. Because you've got to face it at some point and say, right, what point do we get to? Well, we end the season in 5th place or something like that, or even worse. So at least at this point now, we've got a chance of kind of getting the season back on track. If they get make their decisions promptly and efficiently, that is a big question. What's that there, Buzz?
It quite simply says, from the official account, manager update, and it's St. Martin shaking by Sean's horn. So it's Martin O'Neill, lads.
Right. Okay.
Right,
I'm happy. If that's true, I'm delighted with that. I really am, because that's exactly the type of person we need in at this point. So I'm happy
so
with it.
Here we are, just on that hot news. I said there's no going to be any statements, and there actually isn't a statement there as well. It just says Martin O'Neill named Celtic manager until the end of the season. Actually, there is. Celtic Football Club can confirm that Martin O'Neill will be joining the club as manager until the end of the season. Martin will be supported by Sean Maloney and Mark Fotheringham as assistants, as well as Stephen McManus, who will be joining our existing coaches, Gavin Strachan, Stevie Woods, and Greg Wallace. Now, Stevie Woods is another one I've got on. I've just wrote down there because, again, you're hearing all the I'm hearing and this has happened and that's happened. We'd heard that Stevie Woods had handed in his resignation. We'd heard that he'd been sacked. We'd heard all sorts of stuff. But Stevie Woods is named by the club there on the existing coaches list. Greg Wallace, again, I'm not 100% sure who that lad is. I think it's a young guy.
I know him for that fucking the specky baldy guy for the food thing.
It's not the one that's been done for sexual assaults, mate. No, it's not that guy.
That's good.
Martin O'Neill has said, I'm really pleased, in fact, very honoured to be asked back to manage the team, and I'm looking forward to getting back to work again with the players. I know we would have all hoped for things to have worked out differently under Wilfried, and I personally want to wish him good luck with everything he does in the game. He's a fine man, and I'm sure he'll go on and achieve success again. I have no doubt of that. For me, I've been asked to take this great job on again. My focus will be to try and get us back to winning ways if we can. We will need everyone right behind us. Another point I will come to. We still have a lot to look forward to and a lot to try and achieve. And with myself, Sean, and the coaching staff, and of course the players, will be given everything to achieve all the success we can for the club. Brian Wilson, Celtic's interim chairman, said, the way things worked out for Wilfred Nancy is an immense disappointment, not least from a purely human perspective. Wish him and his family all the best. By bringing Martin back to the club, we look forward with confidence to giving the team real focus for the challenges ahead. He's a manager the players, staff and supporters know well, with a peerless reputation in football and a deep commitment to Celtic. Right, I'm not going to read any more because that's fucking too long. But anyway, the whole point of that was that Celtic have come out with the announcement. I would say about as soon as possible, as soon as practical. There might have been wee elements that need to get there. But gentlemen, ladies, boys, girls, everywhere around about the world, you heard it here first. Celtic have appointed Martin O'Neill until the end of the season. I don't want to look too further ahead, is because there is many challenges to come on what this season actually holds out for us, whoever that next permanent manager is going to be. But Andy, reactions. Heard it here first. Breaking news on your CSP. Martin O'Neill is back in the dugout. Are you happy?
Aye, delighted, mate. I thought that might have been the case, to be honest with you. But listen, the fact that Fozzie's back and Maloney's back as well is really good. It's exactly what we need. Exactly what we need, just at the right time for us as well. So, listen, Saturday we're all fucking down and feeling sorry for ourselves, and thinking things are going to get worse. And it's just this is like the start of a new season. I know it's halfway through the season, but the season starts now, doesn't it? Let's get into them. And by the way, Hearts, Rangers, Motherwell, Hibs, all the teams that are kind of running about as close days, they'll be gone. Oh no. So I absolutely delighted. Baz.
Yep. First things first, delighted. There goes my theory about if it was Martin O'Neill had already been in. What do I know? But I just can't help but think, as a knee-jerk, and I don't know if it's the Phil Nancy thing, but surely, what did you just do that for in the first place? Do you know what I mean? All right, they didn't, so right, okay, let's move on. But my knee-jerk reaction was, should just stop it, really, shouldn't you? But hey, they didn't, so he's back now. you made a good point, Andy. There's my big mate, Stevie. Made a good point, big man. I think that was my overriding emotion, one of many, on Saturday, that the season starts here. I hadn't took them serious. I've admitted it. I didn't take them serious. I was doing my usual, just bat them away.
Yeah, you did say this is ground zero, wasn't it? You did say.
And I says, once they're level with us or in front of us, then you need to sit up and take notice. I still don't really count Hearts in it, which is probably a bit harsh on them. But you're right, Andy, the season literally starts now. We've got Dundee United at home on Saturday, which I can't make, but that's life.
You know what? It's going to give us totally changed the whole feeling. I mean, there was talk of maybe boycotts happening and stuff like that. I take it that's going to be postponed or suspended or whatever. I'd imagine so. So the atmosphere has totally changed. People knew going to that stadium are going to have a right Paul McStay phrase here. There's going to be a buzz about the place. Absolutely. So, I absolutely delighted with it.
Yeah. Sorry, no, carry on.
No, you go, mate. You go.
So, and the thing about with the season starting now, Andy, you've got to think as well. Somebody says there's an 18-game shootout. I still fancy us. There's no point in me saying, well, did that change after the school run? I was halfway around making a dinner, and now that way your phone just starts lighting up. And I shouted through, he's away. So there's a couple of things for me with that. So Martin O'Neill's in to the end of the season. We're in the transfer window. When are we going to act? How quick are we going to act? How many? Who's buying them? Who's agreeing these contracts? How many years? So it's all these things that are all coming into it. So these are the kind of things that will float about in my head later on. But listen, delighted.
Say something here that if Martin's agreed to come back to the end of the season, surely he's put stipulations in. Listen, this is what I need to get in here. So use better.
Aye, your most successful living manager had guarantees when he come back. The second time, still didn't get them. But I think the thing that's gave me, I was going to say extra hope, but a bit of hope with the board is that Tidsdale's away as well. So is he lining them up here? Is this going to be a more of a revolution than a transition? So that's two away today. Martin's in, happy with that. We Sean will be at the training ground tomorrow. Just get them back to it, get in their heads, tell them how good they are, remind them that they are good at it, and just play their normal game. And everyone will be fine, lads. There you go. Everyone's fine. Half an hour in. It's all right, Hoggy.
And this is, and you know what my kind of thoughts on this as well is the flip floppers as well. We'll suddenly see this name and then think, oh, everyone's rosy again. Everyone's absolutely perfect at Celtic. This is it. We're going to fucking win it again. And I've got to say as well, absolutely not. Do not think as well that the fucking war has been won or the war is over. Celtic still have a lot of fucking hoops to jump through as well to get anywhere near back to the kind of the league stuff as well. But we will drop that now because it is going to be a good pod. Now, the pod has taken a wee bit of a different shape to what it was going, because I was going to bring up next Luke McCowan's interview. I'm going to park that to the side a wee bit because I think it's still something we need to talk about. Right. But Barry, you mentioned there's something, mate, as well about managers need to have, like, you know, the things that they need in order to do the game. Martin O'Neill's spoken before as well about having some sort of kind of mediator or some sort of kind of thing to sort out the relationship between Celtic and the fan base, right? And we've seen there on Saturday, anybody that was at the game, or indeed if you were listening to the game at home, it should have probably kind of hit you like a fucking spade to the face, that the lack of atmosphere, the lack of noise in Celtic Park as well is beginning to be somewhat of a concern. Now, we've went through periods in our history as well where the fans have been kind of low and atmospheres are there, but you've got a group of fans there that have been alienated and potentially been discriminated enough that they are going to actually probably not come back to Celtic anyway by their own decisions rather than Celtic's. But one thing as well that you would think that would be on my list if I'm coming back in and saying, you've got yourself into this fucking mess here, which is your decision because you didn't give me the option to keep me on there. You made the decision, you went that way. If you want me back in, here is my list of things that I want at Celtic Park. I'm not talking players. I'm not talking I want fucking this player or that player, this player. I want to sort Celtic out, first of all, internally where we are. I want that stadium full. I want our full backing. I want that Green Brigade section back in there. Do you think that would be something that given the board's, I'm not saying reluctance to do anything before, because we've seen statements for the collective, we've seen statements for the affiliation that's come back and said they've been trying to dialogue Celtic or trying to get in dialogue with Celtic for months and months, which has fell on deaf ears from Celtic. Do you think this now will be something that will drive that intention to actually try and sew that relationship back up as well as you can? Now, I don't think the relationship can be fixed, but at least sew it up in such a way that you're going to get full backing from your Celtic support in Celtic Park, and that means welcome back to Green Brigade. Do you think there's any legs in that?
Definitely, mate. Although I would hesitate to go full on it, because I thought Brendan had some assurances, albeit different issues back then. However, if there's Martin's, he's just got this kind of aura about him with Celtic Park connections. We all know Brendan was a Desmond man, but there's just something different about Martin and Elland. I think that they've got a better relationship. There's a lot of respect there. There's a lot more history there. So when Martin left there a couple of weeks, it feels like a couple of weeks ago, we had to talk about, right, what would you do? Oh, here he comes. What would you do with Martin O'Neill? And I think the word I used was
fuck was.
All right, my son. What are you saying?
Yeah, I'm going to take my volume, so my computer's going
on
you go.
So my suggestion was some form of mediation, some sort of go-between to say, right, I'll be in the middle and try and mend a few, here's the horns going again, mend a few issues. So fingers crossed. And are we all in with this? Is this breaking news as well, that the Green Brigade are back, or are folk just saying that should happen, or has it actually happened?
I think they're saying it should happen. But
by no means has it happened. That's, I'm just saying that's what I'm thinking is, if I was a manager coming in saying, I want to be given all the tools at my disposal to make sure that we are successful. And one of those things that we need as well is that area in Celtic Park that's watching the team play football. We need to have that.
If you remember, Hoggy, a few weeks ago, we all spoke about Martin O'Neill as being that, maybe you should get him in as being that kind of buffer between the,
media.
So I know he's a manager, but I think he's a type of guy that can use his influence to maybe make that happen. And I think it's something that's going to happen, because even with Martin O'Neill in charge, with a fractured fan base, it isn't good, and it's pretty obvious that they're missed. You can tell that with the atmosphere. They're needed in Celtic Park, and I don't care if people don't like them or know that they're needed.
You're in, Paul.
Eventually. Fuck me.
Paul, is that you securing the flying column?
That's me, mate. Of course I. Who else is it going to be?
Just the comments. We because it's on the chat, I can't highlight that and I can't post it as a link. So you need to copy and paste that link basically. But I can put it on the YouTube page, which will basically.
I was all right. I was enjoying watching it. It was nice to watch it for half an hour there, but I tell you, your man, fucking Celtic fan X39, you better watch your fucking cell, boy. If I had the buttons, you'd be fucking out. If I had the buttons, you'd be out the fucking door by now, matey.
I caught that.
Good job for you,
earlier on. I thought, see if Paul
come on, no. I mean, we're here to talk good stuff, and this cunt's still going on about wanting the Green Brigade knowing the stadium. Get a fucking sell your fucking tube.
We'll come back to that as well. But I did say at the start as well, we're going to be flopping in between things there as well. I just want to bring it back to the attention pre Nancy's firing. And there was an interview by Luke McCowan, right, which is a very, very interesting interview, which, again, my head's full of pictures and full of visions as well. I'm a very, very kind of visual thinker. And I'm sitting thinking, did he just absolutely set his manager up there as well for basically calling him out and saying, we're going out there and we're basically starting the game, we're bossing it, and then teams change and we can't adapt it. Now, we'd spoke at the start of the pod, Paul, and I'll bring this one to you, mate. We'd spoke at the start of the pod there, and you would have heard us talk about how Celtic are bossing first halves, and then it seems as if second half the arse falls off us. And whether that's, again, that sabotage thing, or whether it's basically just that managers are getting the better of him. One of the boys had mentioned part of the job as managers, whether you do it yourself or whether you employ other people to do the analytics, but you scout opposition teams. When you're playing against them, you get the chance to see how they're set up, and ways to exploit them. You've got to kind of think about, right, how are they going to potentially change things to counteract us? How can I then change things there? But any time that there's been any sort of requirement for Nancy to change the formation to kind of fit the way the game is going, absolutely failed, because second half we've been over and over absolutely battered. So do you think that interview with Luke McCowan as well was just him being, as a Celtic fan, very, very truthful? Or do you think there was a wee kind of maybe a deeper motivation there as well to expose the fact that this cunt's not actually gain us anything to actually do here second half?
Yeah. I think it was a shot, definitely. I think it was frustration. I think he was very honest, the boy. You could argue strongly that it should have been Callum McGregor that was making that interview. He's a captain. But then you could also say he's a captain, he's got to try and keep it all together in the dressing room. But no, fair play. I thought it was a great interview with Luke McCowan. I think that was the beginning. If it was, well, the beginning and the end was fucking probably Tannadice, let's be honest. But I thought that definitely highlighted a lot what's going on. As did a lot of things that happened on the park in the second half. I think I just caught Andy saying, just before I come on, I spent the whole second half turning into the big man saying, what the fuck going on here? How are we losing this game? We've been so dominant in the first half, and to bring on a player as limited as Diamande is limited, because that's what he is, absolutely limited, and be able to change the whole side of the game, just no good enough. I mean, listen, and I did say Andy as well, because I had the pleasure of the big man's company. I bunked him, I should say, but I bunked him into the section on Saturday. And it was, and with a great first half, it was fucking brilliant. I thought we played superb, really, really well. And I did say that 3-1. I can't, and I'm stopping saying this, feeling sorry for the manager, because I didn't particularly. But when you see some of the things that he suffered for, I mean, the number 9, and we're 4-0 up in half time. A decent back 3, and we're going to lose 2 of the goals, one anyway. I'll keep spraffing anyway. A second, and obviously you can't legislate for the calamity that was the second goal. So he's been very, very unlucky, but also very, very stubborn. So he deserves to go. I'm delighted he's away. I have no sorrow for him gone. And if I've just heard correctly, Martin O'Neill in till the end of the season. Has that been announced?
The band's back together again, aye.
Paul's having some Wi-Fi issues here. Yes. So, Andy, I'll come to you. Well, Paul's having a wee second of looking very menacing.
Yes.
The camera there. Aye.
He's staring right down at that commenter, isn't he?
But Andy, so obviously we were speaking there about Luke McCowan in that comment, and just basically, you know, the comment there is McCowan's basically told us why they're underperforming. It's because they had to do what Nancy was asking them to do. And they didn't like it. They would have probably seen very much on the park as well, this isn't working. But is that another sign there as well that again, the players had just basically totally given in, and maybe one of the reasons for that kind of second half underwhelming performances for Celtic is that they're having to carry out instructions of a manager that clearly has not got a fucking clue what he's doing?
I'm going to go against the grain here a wee bit, because I don't like that. I don't like the fact that he's come out and actually said that. You look at Luke McCowan throughout the season, he's been one of the worst culprits for getting the ball away and all that kind of stuff. I know he had a half decent game on Saturday and has had moments in games, but he's not been great. He in my opinion, he's not been great. I don't like players coming out saying that about any manager, no matter how bad he is. You know, there's a lot of situations that happened in that game, especially, well, specifically the second half. You can't put it down to a manager not being able to adjust his team to combat with the changes that were made against him. But again, I'm going to reiterate that a lot of individuals that I had called
well played.
He's going to turn up at either where I'm on the truck or one of your houses just to get in.
Fair play, Celtic fan. Fair play. I'll take that after when Paul's coming back on. Here he comes.
Actually, it's not particularly
Paul,
something.
Look, Paul.
Fair play, mate. Fair play. I'm just looking to see you. I'll give you that one.
I still can't.
I don't know what's going on, man, tonight, lads. It's fucking shite.
We can't see you anymore, Andy. Oh,
I know,
there you
man.
are. Lights are.
Lights are.
Aye.
I'm all right now.
As I said, it's not something I particularly like. Players coming out with. It's obviously frustration. It's just boiled over, and he's just listen. The boy's a Celtic fan, right? So he's obviously hurting as much as us. I totally get that. It's just something I don't like to see. But
Andy,
can understand.
that just adds yet something else to the pot. If your players are coming out and feeling that disrespect enough that they can just come out and out this guy and say what he's saying, it was just a complete error from start to finish, thrown in with all manner of shite in with it, and it's done. It's over now. Paul, you mentioned that, I don't know if you can hear me right. You're still hanging there. Andy, do you get your back, Paul? And do you think he was just really naive? I've heard the arrogant, I've heard stubborn. Do you just think it just wasn't that good?
Who, Nancy?
Aye.
Well, the plenty of evidence to back that up, Baz, definitely. I think so. I mean, his record in the American League wasn't wonderful, was it?
Exactly,
so,
7th.
Madness. And I think again I caught one of you saying about this. I mean, him and Tisdale away in one day is a good day, and we know we've got other battles, but they're for another day. I mean, which the people that actually made that decision to appoint him have major questions to answer as well, because yes, the sacrificial lamb's always going to be the manager. Tisdale's a bonus, but we've still got these cunts running the club. But that's for another day. We're positive today, all things considered.
Yeah. I think that's one of the messages we said. Certainly, I'd said at the start of the pod, Paul, is that today is a good day, all things considered. And I think coming off the backdrop of what the weekend gave us as well, any kind of decision to that effect was going to be a good day. But there's more hurdles to cross at Celtic now as well. You know that there's obviously ongoing campaigns and stuff like that. And that brings us nicely on to the next point. Good shout, Baz. Good shout. But the next one then is you've had a chief executive officer who has come out and backed publicly his decision to give Wilfred Nancy the job. First of all, he's also kind of come out and backed the manager again. It's been proven as well that has been a kind of short-sighted thing to do, because very kind of quickly afterwards he's paying the guy off. Barry, any time that he's come out publicly, it's been kind of proven as well that actually that was the wrong thing you done in the first place, son. So is that kind of totting up process then of I'm backing this guy up, is that just inevitable? You're going to get that for your bosses. Because again, if I'm at work as well, my boss is going to say to other departments in there as well, but get him, he's a good guy, by the way, he'll do that work for you, no bother. So is that just a kind of common courtesy of your leadership in your job, is to give you a bit of vote of confidence? Or is that just actually fucking wrong, and his position is now becoming very much untenable because he's publicly backing decisions that he's made which have been proven to be utter shite? Yeah,
I'll take you back to when we got Brendan, because at the time Brendan Rodgers was a catch when we got him the first time round. It was one of the hottest tickets going about in Britain at the time, and that all stemmed from losing to that Warburton mob on penalties. And I think they were gloating in front of him because he was there. He was meant to be at the game on Saturday, but I don't think he was actually there. So he's maybe had that wee tantrum again. We've said they don't know the guy, but you can form an opinion in somebody when you don't know them. He comes across as very egotistical, very tantrumy, and he's got all the money. So don't be kidded. That's why you get Brendan Rodgers. And the first time you wouldn't have got Brendan without him. So maybe he's just seen Saturday as his Hampden moment again and says, right, I'm stepping in here. You're getting Martin O'Neill back. And what's to say what's to say that he doesn't go out and blitz? Well, that's some optimism coming again, but we do need players. It's absolutely known that we need players. So what's to say he doesn't just go out and just rattle it in the next couple of weeks, and we do see these big signings. We absolutely need a striker. I've seen Big Stevie saying that Johnny Kenny hat-trick this Saturday. Listen, Johnny Kenny scored the most goals under Martin the last time, so Martin was getting stuff. I keep saying you must have been fed up listening to me. Well, obviously, but particularly in Saturday, when you were comparing, it all come down to man management, coaching. It was just getting things out of folk that Nancy clearly wasn't, and Johnny Kenny was a shining light. With that the first time round, I say first time round, it was 2 months ago. So hopefully, fingers crossed, as I say, I think I used ground zero, or I can't remember my exact words, but I know I said that a few times on Saturday, so I'll take my medicine there. But it's serious now for me, and I've had a word with myself about a few things. So it's season starts on Saturday. We're level now, we shouldn't be. It's embarrassing. It was 9 points clear of them when Nancy took over. You're now neck and neck with them. I think we were 9 points behind Hearts when Martin took over. It swung down in about 2 weeks. So, and we've got them in a couple of weeks. So, fully back Martin, fully trust him, and that's the difference, Andy. There's a trust there. There's a comfort there. There's certainly an experience there. But there's more importantly, there's quality coaching and man management, because that's all they need, Andy. You just don't wake up. Like, take the first half versus the second half. What on earth was he telling them at half time to come out and do that? I just couldn't.
As we said, it's time as you can get back to the Dundee United game, you know. And by the way, let's not forget that same thing was happening under Brendan Rodgers as well. You were getting one half, and then it just shite in the second half. You were not a lot of games you were only getting one half. So it wasn't clearly down to Nancy, but it's been an experiment that's been drastically a huge mistake, and it's hitting them in the pocket. All right, might not be it's going to break any budgets or anything like that, affect the club to that extent. But you know, in my opinion, all right, Tisdale's recommended this manager, but he's not just went, oh, by the way, just like, you know, I'm bringing Nancy in, you know, so somebody's stamped that up to say, aye, okay, on you go. And as far as I'm concerned, that's probably down to Nicholson, or is he then going to Dermot to get permission?
No, but Andy, but what was saying at the start of that there was that decision has been shown that Michael Nicholson came out and said as such as well that, you know, we were aware of Nancy at the start as well. He was a number one contender, and then after we looked further, we realised that this was the person that we needed and fitted with the values and culture of our club. We needed him because he fit with the values and culture of our club and what we needed going forward.
Yeah,
that for me again.
One thing I did see. Sorry, I didn't mean to button. One thing I did hear the day was the first thing Martin O'Neill was going to do is shut that back door. Martin O'Neill had 7 games. He conceded 2 goals that full time in the league, and both were penalties. So the first thing he's going to do is go back to basics and get that back 4 in there and close that back door, and then just build for there. Which takes me back again. I'm getting annoyed again about the thing I said at the start with Nancy. He probably would still be here. They'd certainly, I can bring out the big guns tonight, man. Something happened today.
Possibly.
Bringing out, all right, Kev.
All right, big man.
That was a party. But I lost my chain of thought there. But I think he would actually still be here if he just kept the flat back. I know it sounds very simple. Just keep the back door shut. Do your footery about things going forward. Show us what you've got as a tactical coach to attack. And then when you've got the players, you only had to do it for 3 weeks or 2 weeks to the window open. That's the point I was going to highlight as well with the man management side of things, Paul. You take Yang in the first half.
Super.
Best performance in a Celtic shirt, right? One of the best goals I can remember in a derby, because it's only been gone for 13 years.
Can I ask, before we go any further, can I just say I'm not too keen on that view that Kev's giving us?
I know Kev is. I know I've changed already because I was going to say something there, but never mind. So But Paul, the man management thing and the coaching
Yeah.
side of things, you take your best performance in a Celtic shirt and
Yeah.
change his position in the second
Mental.
half. What
Madness.
are you
I know. That was one of the many. Aye, I mean, Young was unplayable on in the first half, completely unplayable. And then, as you say, comes at the second half and he switched on wings, and it's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And there's so much to pick out of that second half that I don't care if I can be bothered, to be honest with you, because it's done. You know what I mean? It's done. It's done under an old manager. But regarding Martin O'Neill, I would like to see Martin O'Neill get knew that it's been confirmed. I would like to see first complete stability, because I'm very happy with that as an appointment, even though my initial input was, let's not go back there again. Let's get somebody in for the longer term. Well, give him longer term. Give him 18 months. Come on, why not give him a longer contract until the end of the season? Give him a contract that's going to mean that players are going to sign and buy into the project that Martin O'Neill's more than capable. He's still delivering. That he's shown us already that he can deliver that type of that managerial performance. So for me, happy with Martin O'Neill. Saturday, it's what it was. It was a kind of microcosm of everything about Wilfred Nancy, wasn't it? In one game, just capitulation. I mean, we went back to the boozer after it, and it was actually, I caught your bit too, Baz. I was in the bad books myself, I have to say. I'm only on here because Louise's back shift. I was on a 1-game ban for putting the arse with it. And no, I've not put the Christmas tree up yet, Louise, but I will be going up tonight before you get home. That. I have all my jobs to do, so I was really in the bad books, and I've made a lot of promises that I am keeping and tend to keep. So I can't remember where I was going with that, because that was my. I saw Louise again for being a.
Did I hear you right there? You still haven't put your Christmas tree by? That's outrageous, man.
Up the loft. It's been at the top of the stairs all weekend. It's to go up the loft. So that's my job. But and I've threw myself completely off course. I can't remember what I was talking about. But no, the game. I mean, as I say, me and Andy watched it together, and it was madness. It was one of the most mental games. Like I said that to a few times to Andy. This is one of the craziest games I've ever watched. How a team could. No, I wouldn't even say for the whole second half, by the way, because for the first 10-15 minutes, we were all right again. We weren't too bad. We have a couple of wee sniffs, don't we? We have the Maida one, but I think that might have been at one each. The one who fizzes by the post. So probably for the first two, we were a better team, but then you can't do. I mean, like that big lumpy would score 2 goals, and the third goal just gets worse every time I see it. Kasper Schmeichel just gets worse every time I see it. At the game, and again I say, Stanley, I didn't think that was that bad, because again it took a deflection, and it did, but still, come on, he's got to get that. And it was horrible to hear fans booing him. I hated that. I have to say. I don't know if he's caught that where you were in the stadium, but definitely heard every time he got the ball, there was boos. And I understand the anger and the frustration, and then when we walked to the ground, and obviously there was a protest, and I think there'd been an attempt to enter the stadium. Fully behind all of that. Fuck anybody that's not. Fully behind all of that, because that's where we were at the time. It needed direct action, and as I've pointed to every hun that gave me a wee bit of jaw on Saturday night, the booze that we go into, it's pretty much, it's where the bus leaves for actually, but we like to go in there to, first of all, we know most of them, and as much as I despise Huns, there is quite a few ones in there that are actually all right. We were getting a fair bit of, well, a level that, right, that's enough. Enough stick, or this could get messy for everybody. So just that'll do. And they were just desperate for us to keep. So they'll be gutted. And that's a good thing as well. Them and Hearts will be gutted that we've made this decision so quick. And we fucking agree on something. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. But no, I mean, that, as I say, that third goal just gets worse every time you see it. What's he saying? He says, well, I've got a few hand pals, believe it or not. But so just delighted to get that news today. And again, I'm just all over the place. Delighted to get that news today. And we move on, and I fully expect us now to go on and win this league. It was savable. I said on the bus coming in on Saturday, this is still savable. These animals are just drew up, they're just level with us, and the Hearts are 6 points. And I've shown us already how quickly they can capitulate with a half-decent manager in place. So this league is very, very savable, and the work begins tomorrow. And get the Green Beret back.
I think you're right, Paul. I think the work for me doesn't begin tomorrow. The work begins fucking absolutely immediately, straight away.
Yeah,
be appointing Martin O'Neill as well. Then I think there was a comment. I don't know if it was Lorne or somebody else as well, but it's almost one of the things. I don't think Martin O'Neill, although he's got obviously that kind of sentiment and feeling for Celtic, I don't think that he's going to be one of the men that's just got to rock up and say, "Aye, I'll do whatever you want, boys, as well. Give me that, and I'll go in and be your puppet and do everything." He would have come in with.
But spit it out.
Oh, he's stuck now.
He's staring at me again.
August stuck.
I did stick there, boys. I did stick there. My back.
Yeah.
Yes, you are, mate.
Aye. I think fucking Celtic fan 80, whatever it is as well, has broke into my Wi-Fi as well. Got to leave us alone, Celtic fan 839, please. But no, what we're saying there is that Martin O'Neill coming back in, surely you would think, Kevin, I'll come to you for this one, buddy. Surely you would think that comes with some pretty serious demands from his point of view as well, that if you want me up here for the next 5 or 6 months to uproot family or whatever he's doing as well, because, you know, it was a man that was enjoying his life, you know, enjoying his life kind of post-football, and he's going to be up here for the next 5-6 months. Surely there's got to be some demands from the man there that would include players that he's wanting as well. So what do you think as well that Martin O'Neill's, Barry said as well, the first thing he does is shut the back door? For any man, their back door should be shut anyway. Just saying. Just saying. But what's Martin O'Neill's thinking tonight for you, Kevin, buddy?
Am I half my nut? I think that's the first thing. I think that's the first thing you'll be thinking to yourself. Am I half my nut? No, I think you'll be thinking to yourself is that he's going to have these blinkers on, and he's going to be thinking to yourself that I'm here to win a league title and I need the backup to do it. He's not coming up here just to place a beauty on and steady a wee ship that had a wee hole in the side of it and was halfway going down. He's a born leader and he's a born winner, and make no bones about it. Nothing but a league title will be good enough for him. And he's not the type of guy at that age with his knowledge and experience to be coming up here for a board to say, just lie down and we'll give your belly a wee tickle for your son, because it's not going to happen with him. It's going to be in his terms, because he doesn't need to. He's screaming 70-odd-year-old. He owes us nothing. Know what I mean? So they're going to have to play ball with him. For me, what happened the first time, but it should have been to the end of the season then, and got that stability instead of going through 8 games of fucking hell there. Know what I mean? With Nancy, but it's done now, so we look forward and we move on. And Paul's 100% right. We can throw our ass, by the way, and we're 6 points off the top of the league. And know what I mean? That it's not going to be easy, and I'm not saying we're going to do it in the end, but this isn't a damn squib. You couldn't have left it any longer. But it's not a damn squib. And Martin O'Neill, I mean, I was up at an audience with him yesterday in Dale Park, and they were asking about how did you feel when you came back in again, and he said it just gives you that lift and that passion, just ready to go for it and do it all over again. And obviously everybody knew yesterday, but he wouldn't tell us because he couldn't. But aye.
Can I ask you, Kev, see when you met Martin O'Neill, obviously put the picture in the chat, did you think at that time this is the next Celtic manager I'm standing next to here?
Not for the life of me.
No,
I didn't for the life of me. And I actually just texted the father-in-law there when the wee fella went up to bed, because he was raised, the wife had got us them for Christmas, my nephew, and that as well. And they were doing the auctions, and there was 5 different Martin O'Neill items, and I fucking the very last one got to fucking I was sitting at 800 quid, and then guys were going 1,000 and 11 and 12, and ended up 1,300 quid. And I'm sitting there, and I text her all, man. I says, "What the fuck? I just had the balls to keep going and get that now." But hey, I didn't. It was one of his trackies signed in a big frame.
Aye.
Yeah, there was 4 or 5 ease items, big canvases that Gio had brought down with him. So, but no, it was a great day. Never thought for a minute that was going to be our new manager. But as I say, it's not going to be a bed of roses, and it's going to be a rough ride the rest of the season. But we've got a bit of knowledge, we've got a bit of experience, we've got a guy that knows the club, that knows his way about the place, and if nothing else, as a rebuilding process, there's going to be a new manager in June. But what this man's going to do is he's going to start creating a bit of stability about the club. He's going to start creating a bit of feel-good factor about the club. And I think that it's a very, very positive move that's been done right away.
See the 6-month thing, right? Where do you think that ties in with the transfer window coming up then? Do we give him do we rely on the fact it's Martin O'Neill and Martin O'Neill will buy the right players? Is it as simple as that? That's kind of where I was going with why not give him next season as well? Because you clearly seen how much he enjoyed it in his interviews. He did not hide at all how much he was basically saying he wanted to take it back into football in some interviews, right? Pretty much. So that's where I'm going with it. I would like to see, I know they've said it's to the end of the season. I'm not seeing that just with what I've read them here. But I would be more than happy to give him next season as well. I mean, let him actually get a right crack at it.
Paul, that was my thing. I was literally ready to ask Andy the kind of same question. So I'll jump in first, and then I'll pass it on to Andy for that. But anytime that you're given a management team, whether it's temporary, short term as well, if they come in and do the job that you require them to do, then they're first up for me. That's the first option, because if you've got a winning, successful managerial setup that's already working and clearly working, then why do you go in and change that? Now, for me, obviously, the age is a thing, but from this point,
he's also, just to say that, he's said how much he's enjoyed working with Mark Fotheringham and Sean Maloney.
Well, again,
there you go. There's your legs. There's your old football analogy. There's your legs to do the running for the older player.
Exactly, mate. And what I'd said earlier was what Kevin had kind of relayed to us over the weekend, is that he's come out there and publicly basically stated his admiration for Mark Fotheringham and Sean Maloney as coaches. They maybe just need that wee elder statesman, that mentor figure as well, to give them a wee hand through the first period of their managerial career. This would be, and again, I know it's like, if you rewind a few months back, Maloney would not have been anywhere near welcomed at Celtic Park by the vast majority of fans. Now, if he got the job, obviously you back him at that time as well, but it wouldn't have been anybody's first pick. But now you're getting into a situation, and for all the people that say, this is what Celtic wanted all the time, that this is not a Celtic design, that this fucking suddenly came to this at the start of January, that this manager came in, cost us £6 million, so many points, so many fucking relationships done, and actually that's Celtic's design to get Maloney in the door. But this for me is that kind of chance that if this is working, then you don't change it for me. But your other question there was on money. Regardless who's in that hot seat, Celtic cannot go through now to the summer with the squad that they've got. You need to give that man money. You need to give him you need to give him money to spend. Now, he'll need to justify those signings that he's got to make. But those signings will not be Martin O'Neill just plucking them out the sky. Remember, you've got a football department in there. Tisdale's gone, but he's the leader of that. There's a full team of people in there that will be there, the scouting. You've also got a guy that's come in the door who's, chief, I was international scout at Chelsea or something, who knows about football. So I think there'll be players as well that will be identified already. There'll be players that they're working on. They brought Arajo in as well. I don't think that's got to be something they just plucked out the sky a day before it. But for me, Paul, I agree with you as well that on that point, that if this managerial team that they've put in there on a short-term basis does the job, really gets this club firing again as well, playing great football, I think the job's theirs going forward. Andy, over to you. What do you think, brother?
I think just touching on what yourself and Kev elaborated on about what Martin O'Neill said, what he thought about Maloney and Fotheringham, is the fact that he's going to be here at the end of the season. Martin O'Neill said that he's going to respect them. He thinks they're good coaches, and I think that if Martin comes in and is successful, we fully expect him to be so, because that's what he is. I can see Maloney taking over. If it is learning under Martin and having that kind of figurehead, I could see that happening. Maloney and Fotheringham, or if he chooses to go with somebody else, Martin will just quietly kind of back away, and I can see Celtic going down that route. Whether that's the right thing to do, I don't know, but I can certainly see that happening.
I hope no, Andy. I still hope no. As much as I like having them about the place, and I think you get in football, you get good coaches and you get good managers, and I think Sean Maloney has shown he's very highly regarded as a coach. His time in management has been a bit abysmal. So for me, you could be right. Remember, but we're all happy and it's all fucking good. You know, but we still have this board that have made these decisions that got us to where we are as we speak. So anything, there's nothing off the table regards that. But I think we need bigger and better than Sean Maloney. In fact, I do think we absolutely do.
Just when you're touching on the transfer market, is a bit of physicality, which I think we certainly need. So fingers crossed. Not that he's going to go total old school, but I think he personally, if he knows he's got to be here longer term, we need a bit of physical presence.
Oh, definitely, 100%.
And Paul, I just think you made the comment here about wee Sean, and I think when we spoke about him previously, I said, you know, but sometimes you're a better coach than you're a manager. I just think that sometimes things just fit, and that setup clearly fits. Don't be kidding, they will all be in there. And somebody asked who Fozzie was. It's Matt Fotheringham. He came through the youth ranks at Celtic for one of the commenters here. I don't know if you know, but you know it's exciting when the missus comes in and says, "Do you know Martin's back?" That's what that was. So in case you didn't know, lads, Martin Neil's back. So that's when you know we've made it. But I be Sean, I think the setup suits him, and I think he's maybe came to the realisation as well that he's a coach. I mean, he's a very talented coach, Hoggy. Don't coach for Belgium, and well, I know they've got some rubbish players playing with him now, but you know what I mean. He's in there at the elite level. He was in there, I think, with Terry Henry as well. So he's clearly a very, very talented coach. The players clearly got that respect after him as well. Everything just seemed to work, Kev. And then they just changed it. So we've went back the way, which I kind of had a criticism about the other day there, because I thought, well, that's admit defeat. But then again, that could be a good thing as well, because right, you've righted the wrong. And I think you said, Paul, on the bus on the way back, we can fix this. The word I was using was, listen, this is salvageable if we act. And we've acted. So whilst I don't want to give any credit out, read the room. Okay. I just think the decision's been made. It's no too far gone, and we start it for here. We've got 18 games to fix this. Give Martin O'Neill whoever he wants. Somebody made the comment about how long do we sign the players for. See if he wants that striker, and that striker wants a 3-year deal, and Martin's only here for 6 months. You need to trust him, because he clearly knows he needs it. If he wants the centre half, get him the centre half. If he wants the winger, go and get him the winger. Dies Maida, we can persuade him to stay, give him extra dough, but trust Martin O'Neill for the next 6 months and everything will be all right.
Don't persuade them to stay, Barry. See if nobody's want to stay, get them to fuck out the door.
I get that as well, Kev, but if you can, I just think, well, I'll ask it a different way then. Much you going to take to replace him? Do you know what I mean? I don't mean beg him, I just mean, do you know what, can we sort this? Do you know what I mean? That's what I mean.
That'll be interesting, and it's going to take. It's not going to be a quick fix, obviously. And this other boy's come in who used to be at Chelsea, and he's only in the door 5 minutes, but his role, especially in the next 6 months to the summer, is going to be phenomenal, because he is basically going to fucking restructure everything in there. Know what I mean? And once Nicholson goes at the end of the season and somebody else comes in, he's going to be working with very near half a new board. Now, he's worked down there at Chelsea with Abramovich. I've been reading into this guy, and this guy is a fucking magician. Paul Daniels couldn't lace his boots for what he done down there. Know what I mean? So this guy is top dollar and serious at what he does. Know what I mean? He's not coming in here to get lorded over with some of these donkeys sitting in our boardroom now. He's here to do a specific number, and it's to restructure that full club, from top to bottom, that's what he done with the financial fair play with Chelsea when everything had to be juggled. He restructured the full thing, the full financial aspect, the youth, the academy, the full club. He ran right through it.
Yeah, that was Tisdale's remit, wasn't it? Today, pretty much that was his remit. Was
The
today
football
like that.
doctor.
Yeah. So is this fella then potentially the replacement for Tisdale? Is that could that be an option?
I think this guy, going by what I'm reading for what his past was at Chelsea, is his role's going to be maybe a sort of a not a director of football operations, but a sort of a director of the whole operational running and structure of the club. The way I'm reading into it.
Okay, I've not read too much about him, Kev. So I knew he'd be put in place, but
Paul, I've been reading honours into it the last couple of days.
Okay.
For the hang with him, so I have, because I've been lying. Most of the time.
For the night.
But the guy seems to be clued up in every department of structure a football club. We shall see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Big Stevie mentioned Devlin. He was asking you about Cammy Devlin. I like that shout for. I've lost it there, but I actually prefer the Mulligan shout if we're comparing. I don't know what you think about that.
I think both. Aye.
Can I just bring? Can I bring us back in from? Looking at players just yet as well. There's a comment there as well for Mark McMonagle, Andy. I'm going to ask you this one, buddy, as well. That and it is something that rang in my head as well. But I think the Martin O'Neill thing overpowered that as well. I think for people like us as well, who was there through Martin O'Neill's era, who was for many of us was the best kind of Celtic era of watching a team there. But Andy, do you think that there's a possibility or a danger that the damage has been done for a lot of players already without Martin O'Neill come back in as well? The damage and how scunnered there. Now again, Luke McCowan was said as well about that interview and how he basically loaded up that kind of skeet there as well to be shot down in Nancy. But it was also, if you looked at, there was one particular video where he said it's fuck this, I'm off or something like he was saying, whether that's him alluding as well that he's got to be looking for pastures new. Some would be like that when you go, look, son. Some would maybe say it differently. But is there a concern in your head as well that a lot of damage has already been done to that squad? I'm thinking maybe players that maybe further away. I'm thinking maybe the likes of like your Maidas and stuff like this. Like, you want to know what? Fuck this. I'm away. Is there a danger of that?
I don't think so, and it shouldn't be, because remember what happened under Rodgers. It was almost no quite as bad a situation with the players, but they were certainly underperforming, and Martin O'Neill came in and get a tune out of them and done fantastically well. They've obviously fell away, or they didn't believe in the guy or whatever, and is that a reason why they've not been performing? But from a personal point of view, if that's the case, I think they need to have a right good look at themselves. The fact that they play for Celtic, they don't play for Wilfred Nancy. Celtic pay their wages, so at least you expect is to get the basics right. And I think in a lot of the games, a lot of basic stuff was missing. So you expect better from professional players. I think you'll see a major boost with Martin O'Neill. I think they'll be let off the leash almost the same way that happened with Brendan Rodgers. So if they've been held back with Brendan Rodgers, too tactical. Martin O'Neill seemed to free that up and give him a wee bit of freedom to kind of express themselves, and I think you've seen that. Not that we were totally fantastic in every game, we weren't, but you could see a weight that was lifted off them when Martin O'Neill came in the first time, and I think it's, and listen, we're not miles behind, by the way. We've still got a game in hand. We're 6 points behind Hearts with a game in hand. Technically, we're still on top of the Huns. So, things when it comes to league position and all that aren't absolutely disastrous. So we'll still get loads and loads to play for, loads of games to play. And if they players really respond to Martin O'Neill, which I think they will, then this is a really positive thing that's happened today.
Andy, there was two things on Saturday that really showed me that the players had chucked it. And that doesn't say a lot for them, by the way. The opposite. I thought Rio. I can't believe I'm agreeing with Celtic fan 89 again. Fucking hell, what's happening here? And it's Rio Hatate, when he came on, I thought he was an absolute fucking disgrace when he came on. An absolute fucking disgrace. And there was a point in the second half when Callum McGregor just looked like he stopped trying. It really looked like he stopped trying and was just doing the very basics. And I hate to say that, but that's on, obviously, the manager, but it's also on them. This is just my assessment, by the way. Folk might disagree. But it has been known to happen. And Callum McGregor was just for everything he was good in the first half, it was as poor in the second. For me, certainly the second half, off the second half, he was getting the ball, he was making no sort of effort really to make anything happen. And I obviously that's going to come down to, and I think we'll hear a lot. I think this is one of these stories that will run, and you'll start hearing snippets of just how bad it was behind the scenes in the changing room, on the training park, etc., etc. And it looked all of that for the second half on Saturday. The second half off the second half on Saturday. It was a team that had just chucked it. You know what I mean? They didn't want to get beat anymore, really. It looked like they just didn't want to get beat by any more goals. And that was really sad to see. And I use the word sad because it was sad to see for a Celtic team against a fucking bang average, not even bang average Rangers team. Because even though they beat us 3-1, there wasn't any point, any elongated points of that game where you thought, they're not going to put well, they're looking dangerous. We were the authors of their own destruction for every goal. At no point, I mean, they didn't get close to playing as well as we did in the first half, for the whole first half. They didn't get fucking close to that. They had about 5-10 minutes where they knocked it about pretty well. And the rest of it was just bang fucking average. They're a very poor team. And I said that to the Huns on Saturday night. I said, what should we use more than anything is that team under that manager played you off the park in the first half. Played you off the park. It should have been out of sight. And for the lack of a goal scorer, we would have been out of sight. So, and that was a 4, obviously, we got rid of Nancy. I says, and that's what's happened today. We should have blew you away in the first half. And Eyes are happy. Eyes understandably fucking, well, he's not one fuck off forever. So Eyes understandably taking your small victories and really going with it. I get it. But you should be really concerned about the fact that we played them off the park in the first half and would have been out of sight if bar. And I'm not even be too harsh on Johnny Kenny, you know, because, and I think I said that to you too, Andy, just bits of luck. Ken hitting shot. There was 2 or 3 that he's got good connections, good contact, and a defender through himself. That's what they did very well in the first half, to be fair. They blocked a lot of stuff. They defended pretty well in the first half, the Huns.
Paul, can you remember when Maida was fucking scuffing at everything, just wasn't it? And then Harry Huell spent a wee bit of personal time with him, and then you could actually see a difference in Maida.
100%. 100%.
A bit of personal coaching because the boy gets into good areas, gets himself in good positions. Yeah. And whether it's nerves or maybe it's just.
I agree, Andy. And again, I had that conversation second half as well, because for I mean, he's another boy. He's carried no luck at all. None of it. Although there was one that I did catch it, and the boozer when the highlights were on, even though I was trying not to. He's one shot. He's one real half chance. He gets through the half chance, and he takes the safe option. It's a side fitter. He just side fits it right, pretty much at Jack Butland.
Yeah.
And you, Scott, how's Chubb? He's all right. He was in Glasgow last week. He's doing all right, mate. I'll pass in your regards. But I'm not to blame it on that young laddie, because he's playing with no confidence and a team with no confidence and being expected to be your top, the answer to goal scoring problems. But at the minute, he's just not going to be.
I still think we need it's got to be a priority in this window as a striker.
Oh, of course it is, Andy. 100%. If we didn't sign a striker, it's fucking. It is industrial sabotage.
Yeah.
So, but before again, I've got players in mind as well for a wee kind of last of the pod kind of type subject as well. But Baz, I'm going to come to you for this next one, brother. Right. So I'd said there the kind of point I'd made earlier was or the question I'd asked earlier was would that experience of Nancy basically did more detriment to the players and be like that, right, fuck off. Here's one for us, and this might split the room, it might split the comments as well. So please, as you know, I like to poke and prod as well. It's not my opinion, it's just a question I like to ask the boys. So the experience of Wilfred Nancy is something that is gone and good riddance to it. Celtic players would have experienced something very different on Saturday post game as well. Now, I can't remember the last time I seen that. Actually, I can't remember the last time I seen it, but several years ago. But they ran a gauntlet of hate, that I would say, because what you seen post match on Saturday was, in many people's opinions, fucking absolutely atrocious behaviour from Celtic fans. Some would say it's the frustration that you're pushing them to actually do that kind of thing. But what you seen on Saturday, what was Celtic fans being pushed to their last nerve, but the reaction to each one of those players getting an experience that they wouldn't have had at Celtic yet. And is that something that you think that players, and I heard somebody saying as well, that players like Jota, who was at the first time at Celtic, came and left, but came back as well because it was the only place that he felt at home and it just wanted to get back here. Players only want to come back to Celtic to get that experience of walking out to their bus and getting absolutely fucking knocked to bits. And I know, Paul, again, this is what I'm saying. It's not my opinion. I'm just pointing out there. Is that something that you think will have players second guessing or thinking again about the Celtic experience, and that's what they're getting?
I think it was all part of the bigger picture, Hoggy. And look, I suppose you could marry that next to the Luke McCowan thing. The players know that wasn't them personally on Saturday. That was all directed at the manager and the board. They weren't out there for Callum McGregor and Kieran Tierney and the rest of them. They must, to say they didn't get stuff said to them. Emotions were running high, but I think it was part of the bigger picture. They weren't there for the players; they were there for the board and the manager, mate. That's my take on it, anyway.
Right, Paul, I'm going to throw that one to yourself then, because I know obviously your reaction to that as well was some. Is that again? Do you agree with Baz on that one?
I fundamentally do agree with Baz that the players have taken the brunt of the anger that was directed well above them. Imagine the board had come walking out.
Aye.
We walked past it, Andy, just as it was gathering, and apparently there had been an attempt to storm the stadium, whether that was dramatic or otherwise, I don't know.
Was that just you, Paul?
No, we were very well behaved, Andy, weren't we?
Aye,
very well behaved, mate. All things considered. But no, listen to that. You know me, I'm not going to make any excuses. Players can take it on the chin. It's not great. I've seen the usual so-called fans. That is the so-called fans that have helped force change. That have shown the anger and been and I will defend anybody's right to behave in such a fashion as much as it can look really bad at times and it comes across really uncomfortable. And there's players there like your captain and like Kieran Tierney and like many other players, James Forrest, that didn't merit that at all, obviously. But it's what it is, and it was just the imperfect storm, wasn't it? Everything just that's it. Smelly glove spot on. Again, if that's going to put you off to play for Celtic, then you maybe shouldn't be here in the first place. It would be my answer to that. Take it on the chin. Use it as an incentive. And you're spot on. That would be my take on it for Fozzie Maloney. I think maybe the decision might have already been taken, but it would have certainly helped. And if we're just going to be like that hun mob across the city that sat in their hands and allowed their club to cease to exist, we do things differently at Celtic. We react, and it's not always pretty, but we react in the right way, which again isn't always pretty, but it gets the job fucking done. And that's why we're still the same club. Simple as that.
It certainly made a point, Andy, and I think just as Paul kind of alluded to there as well, that I think there's many people that don't recognise a lot of the action the Celtic Fans Collective, which we and our community obviously are part of through all the kind of supporters buses and obviously this podcast too. But a lot of the work that's been going on there as well with regards to like protests and things, actually you look at the success rate of that there as well, and fair play and hats off to the collective for what they've done and what they've managed to do through the campaigns, not another penny, and the protests and stuff. A lot needs to be tipped to the hat off to the guys there as well. Do you think so?
Of course, aye. I mean, it's the amount of effort and commitment they've put into continuing this process of the protests is that's after them. Absolutely. I just don't know what's going to happen now. So, is not another penny going to continue until Nicholson and the rest are out? What actually happens with the process now? Obviously, with Martin coming in, got to be asking for the full backing towards Martin and the team. For the protest stop for the moment, or do they continue? Or what's happening? I don't actually know what is going to go on. Is anybody else?
Well, I think from what's happened with the collective, and certainly we would have got a lot of the information about that the collective over the weekend basically were looking. The collective were looking for some feedback and some information about what the next stages or steps should be, and what we had, because there was a big chat about a boycott of the game this Saturday.
That was before this decision was made. So
before this decision is made, but looking back to not another penny and these things, is I think that the campaign, certainly from my perspective of it, the campaigns are a long game as well, based on decisions at boardroom level. Yeah. And again, I think the boycotts and stuff like that will be, I'd imagine that would be in the bin as well, because you're wanting to back the team. Because the whole thing is about back the team, sack the board. Yeah. I think the not another penny campaign as well, I don't think that's going anywhere, because that is going to be driving right at the heart of the business model and the financial operation of Celtic. So I think from what I can certainly pick off from it is that will continue. The boycott and anything in regards to not turning up at games will cease. But I would probably expect there to be some sort of protest going on at games, some sort of reminder that we're not going away anywhere here, because the first time we came out there as well, we wanted change. We wanted Nicholson gone, we wanted Mackay gone, we wanted Peter Law gone, we wanted Dermot Desmond gone. Now, Kevin, I'm going to come to you for this next wee bit, buddy, as well, because you're very much a kind of back the team, sack the board kind of thing. Kevin's, and I'm not going to say it because I'll let you get in there, but Peter Lawwell has felt the heat and wanted to fuck off. Nancy has been dismissed because of, I'd imagine, large part of it because of the heat that's coming on that there. But Kevin, I'm going to pass over to you for this wee bit, mate, with regards to that campaign and your thoughts on how many of that boardroom you expect to see potentially disappear.
I said right from the beginning that you would maybe get one, possibly two, and that would be it. You'll not get a full board. I've still got a feeling that you will. I've still got a feeling that Nicholson or one other will go. I still think there'll be one more will go by the end of the season, but that'll be it. You're not going to wipe out the full board, no matter how hard you try. The campaign needs to keep going, because you need to get that change. But I think moving forward for the players and that, as fans, we need to try and back your team a bit more. Try and back them a bit more. Try and give them a bit more encouragement and a bit more confidence. Know what I mean? That's what there's a lot of winners in there that's won an awful lot of Celtic, and they can just get dragged down like the next person and be lacking in a lot of confidence. You know, and all they need is a wee run of games under a new manager and a new regime to get the confidence going. But no, and I was on that poll on my bus chat earlier when they put it up as well, and I was on it for late entry and early exit, but I was totally against a full boycott, because a full boycott doesn't constitute sack the board, back the team. You can't back the team if you're not in the stadium. But late entrance and early exit to meet a point and meet a show, but no full boycott. That's definitely for me. And the difference between that and the old days when we did do the boycott then is that the money's already in the bank now for the season tickets, and the club's got plenty of doors. So you need to try other avenues. See, back then they were relying on every fucking halfpenny, and it was cash at the gate all the time. You know what I mean? So
I think
So a
visual.
full boycott like that was having a greater impact, I feel, than what a full boycott would have the day, because we're cash already there now, because you pay in advance, whereas then it was paying the day. But that's just my opinion, not, I mean...
I kind of agree with you, Kev. I would be for a full boycott if it needed to come to that. I say that with a heavy heart. I don't see too much difference. I mean, listen, mate, we were both around the boot at the time when it was going on.
It's a lot worse than this.
I know, mate. I know. But you know something, I'm not convinced the fans was as bad, and I think that's because, well, I was going to say the disconnect between, I mean, social media and that plays its part these days, doesn't it? But the disconnect between, and I know there's been, particularly my old mucker going to the Green Brigade and all that, but until that gets resolved, we've still got major issues, and that needs to again be getting adults in the room and having some sort of constructive discussions with all fan groups together, and meaningful discussions that continue to go, not just a one-off like they had previously. Meaningful discussions where the board get criticised and get answer questions, where the groups get criticised and have to answer questions, where we can actually have discussions where you can sort of meet in the middle and say, right, that's not going to happen, this isn't going to happen. And until we see things like that, if we do, and this is my problem, I don't think we will under this current regime, then we're going to have peaks and troughs. Christ, James Viper, you're young. You grew up watching Baldy, Pookie and Baricta. Fucking hell. That was about my fourth generation watching Celtic. No, yeah, until there are proper avenues explored regarding fan engagement and getting the group back in, because I'm not going to say love them or loathe them, even though I just did. Without them in the ground, we've seen it on Saturday again. It's just appalling. There he is, that man at the bottom. I'll try and ignore him. But without them in the ground, I'd love to know if you got the games, Celtic fan 839. I'll go for no. Or if you do, what ground you actually go to. But aye, so until we resolve the issues and get the groups back in the stadium and get some sort of peaceful resolution to the issues, then it's not going to go anywhere. Simple as that. It's going to be up and down. The news are peaked because of what's happened today.
Yes.
But you know what I mean?
There will be. I think there's still some legs in that one, Paul. Just I'm going to interrupt. Just Joseph Agnew got a comment up there as well. Turns out a very good day as well, brother. Happy birthday to you, 69 years young today, Joseph. From all of us at the Celtic Sports Podcast, mate. Happy bloody birthday! And again, I'm glad it's your birthday, and I'm glad it happened today as well, on your birthday, man, as well. That Nancy got his daughters as well. So thank you very much.
Just a question. Do you think the fan media is going to be allowed back in now that Nancy's away, because they stopped that when he came in, didn't he?
I don't know that this goes into, I think, the picture I was just got to say there. And I was going to come to you for this one, Andy, because Paul's got a good point there. Is that there is, as I say, there's still some hurdles that Celtic need to go over, and I think the dialogue between Celtic.
Wait a minute. Sorry, Hoggy. So Celtic fan HC, whatever his fucking goes to a game every 2 years. So what would we do with you, mate? What would they do with you? And why do you not have and why then do we know all bow down and give you the divine right to criticise who and what goes on in the stadium? If you said that to me weeks ago, I wouldn't have criticised you all this time. You tell me when once every 2 years.
I think the fishing rod's out there for that one, Paul. I think the fishing rod's out there, brother. But Andy, so on the points week, that there's certainly some hurdles, and I said that at the start as well, that this is a good day, but it's a good first step, or a good step on many steps that need to be trodden. And there's a few things that Celtic need to come out and start to do. Now, yes, we are only seeing the picture from the social media posts from the affiliation and from the collective. That they're trying to get that kind of that stuff going. But part of the things that they're pushing for as well, obviously, is reinstatement of the Green Brigade, the fan action group as well, to be sitting kind of giving them a wee bit more kind of credence to it as well, and potentially even kind of onto the board, as many football clubs have got there now. So I think for me, the next logical step that Celtic should be taking as well, to try and ride this wave of a wee bit of good feeling starting to come back in here, is start to engage that. That's, for me, when all these things that will make Celtic a more complete club is through Celtic opening the communication lines. Now, we've not heard for Celtic, so we don't know. That old adage to say the truth lies somewhere in the middle. Their side, and somewhere in the middle lies the truth. We're only being fed one side of it, so you're kind of only seeing one side's truth. And the more that Celtic don't play the game, you're kind of getting forced into this side to say, what the fuck is going on? So, again, for me, is that something you see happening now? Is that Celtic on the wave of this as well, starting to see that actually we can get excited again about Celtic stuff? Do you think they'll now start to take those steps as necessary?
But they should. They certainly should. They have confidence.
Do you think they will?
I'm not so sure. They're that divided in it.
Aye, they are. I don't know. The fact of the matter is that the Celtic board and the hierarchy at Celtic Football Club absolutely hate the Green Brigade. There's no doubt about it, mate. So their objective was to wipe them out completely, so they're not to see them anymore. Whether it's beyond repair, I don't know. They certainly don't seem. They don't seem interested in engaging in positive talks to ensure that the GB are back in the stadium. And I think overall that's it's going to affect the atmosphere overall. I've already said that. And they're a big thing. And no matter what you think of them, look at what they do when it comes to Tifo's atmosphere. And I know people have got problem with pyros, and I totally get that, you know. But what they in the football is and it's capitalised on a lot of the stuff they have done with Tifo and all that, you know, with pictures and, you know, so they can't pick and choose when they like them and when they don't like them. Also, for me, it's got to be sorted out. They've got to do something.
Sorry, Andy.
They don't. The fan base is still fractured, you know, because they're a major part of the fan base.
Yeah, and that will be another trough. And that'll be when another trough happens, because all these people that say, again, it's like going to fucking old grunt all the time. We didn't need them. We didn't blah, blah, blah. That's fine. That's fine in saying that. That's fine saying that for your comfy seat in the main stand or fucking wherever you sit. But the reality is, once we get into deep into seasons and the atmosphere just is continuously fucking rank rotten. No, everybody jumps about like a madman as we do in the section and sings and gets everybody going. That's fine, but everybody enjoys that, or most people enjoy it, obviously. And it's so needed in the stadium, and that's where I think again a trough would come in when you get into the fucking middle of February, March, and you're pushing for a title, and the stadium's dead, and you're getting outsung by Hearts fans. You're getting obviously that mob on. I didn't hear that mob, to be fair, until the second half. And the irony being, and again, I said, there's the irony, look below us, Andy, where the Green Brigade should be.
Aye.
They're all along in the Supporters Association watching it.
Yep.
And that fucking horrible wee shouty bastards, the Union Bears, are standing there spouting their poison with their 2,500 fans behind them. I've not got an issue anything that comes at their mouth. It's expected, they're vile. That's what they've done all their days, and that's what it is, how it is. But to allow them into the stadium and the putrid nature of what comes out their mouth, and have our, I'm not even drawing parallels, there's no parallels between both groups, but to have our ultras banned and sitting along in the London Road Supporters Club as just sums up this board that we have at the minute. And it's why, just one example as to why, yes, let's enjoy the day, let's enjoy him Martin O'Neill back, let's look forward to the rest of the season, but there's still battles to be won, definitely.
Yeah, there definitely is. But Baz, on that point, that I think one of the things that came out from Celtic when they were talking about the ban or the indefinite ban of the Green Brigade was that they'll engage with the group when they take responsibility for their actions. And I think that was basically them saying, well, yous have been accused of doing this and that to stewards and stuff. Like, once yous come out and say we did this, then we'll get on a kind of level foot with that there.
How can you do that? How can you do that, Hoggy, when it's gone to court?
Well, that's the kind of point I'm making is that the Celtic are seemingly asking something of the group that's not able to be done because they're asking them to take responsibility for something that the group is coming out and saying, absolutely, we didn't fucking do that. So if that's the thing that keeps the two of them from some sort of dialogue, where does the coin fall? What side does the coin fall? And then because...
Okay, you're talking 5 people with breach of the peace. That's what they managed to close a whole section, didn't we? Mental.
But I know that the point I'm making, Paul, is that they're coming out and saying, we'll start to do this when you're taking responsibility for your actions. But everything that's the group saying, and as you're saying, then the investigations after it of them assaulting people, but the only fucking thing you're getting them on is a breach. It doesn't seem as if there's a kind of level or a third side to that coin that will come in and say, actually, there's a wee bit of middle ground here that you should be getting fucking involved in here. So is there any sort of finishing line for that? Now, I know I'm saying at the start that Martin O'Neill should be coming in and saying, right, this happens, this is my wants from the club. And we'll see over the next couple of days whether that is potentially part of Martin's kind of walk-in thing. But that's a very kind of tricky situation that Celtic's playing, is that you'll only get back in the ground when you admit something that you've not done.
It's a very easy win for them. It's a very easy win for another. It would be another easy win for the Celtic board. The first and foremost, engage. And I didn't, as I said earlier, I didn't mean just engage and a one-off. Can have a specific liaison officer with your ultra groups like clubs or Europe have. I mean, somebody that's going to be there to say, right, listen, guys, what went on Saturday can't happen again. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to stand here and say that the Green Brigade, everything they've done has been good. I mean, their banners, I'm all up for the pyro. That can go for me. That would be, again, that would be an easy one for the Green Brigade as well. There you go, concessions straight away. There's your concessions.
It is, but listen, we already have a supporters liaison officer.
But Jack P, I mean, he's a lovely fella, and he's by his own admission, second-hand information, he's working with his hands tied behind his back all the time. Yeah. I mean, there's clubs like Feyenoord that have like 20 liaison officers. We've got one, and somebody helps JP. So, clubs like Celtic, it's just another show a complete mismanagement situation.
But Baz, I'll come to you again for that one, and Ryan's got a good point there as well, where it's like we know that the Green Brigade as well are very much kind of front and centre with what they stand for, and they'll basically make the noises there. But what Ryan's saying, the Green Brigade need to be wise to get back in and then be smart in how they beat the board at their own game. Again, that obviously means that they need to get back in first as well. But can you see a resolution to this in the near future?
No, mate. No, I still firmly believe what I said a few weeks ago, that I think that all things over. Unless there's a total change at board level with who's on the board, I just think it's got so far and so deep and so bitter now that it's like a standoff and waiting for first one to blink. There's something, if Paul's correcting what he's saying, there's 5 charges there, then why are so many thousand no getting in if it's specifically 5 people? Yeah, you want to collectively invite them back in if they all own up to it. So it's just, I just think they're too far apart, and the both of them want Hoggy, and in my own opinion, I stand by. I think it's over. I really do. I hope it's no, but I just think if it was up to the board and it was an easy decision, they would just say, nah, they're season tickets, there's your money back, we're punting them on.
First of all, Baz, I don't think it is over.
Right.
As my general feeling. And I know that's a general feeling with 1 or 2 people that are in the group, because I think it would have been officially over by now if it wasn't. God, I've got my fucking second point. I completely forgot my second point. But no, I didn't think it's over. And oh no, this is what I was going to say. Just imagine, right? Just imagine a world where Martin O'Neill gets unveiled on Saturday, and the Green Brigade are back in the section.
Yeah.
Can we just imagine the boost that gives everybody apart from 1 or 2 contributors? Just imagine the boost that gives absolutely everybody, and the different experience that would be for Saturday. You know what I mean? Come on, that would just be incredible.
And Paul, this is the point. I don't know if you were watching. You were watching earlier. I don't know if you caught it, but we were saying that Martin O'Neill coming back in, and Kevin, I'll come to you just for the last one before we start to wrap this up for the night, buddy. But we said that Martin O'Neill coming back in, and Martin O'Neill mentioned before as well about just needs a mediator, needs something to kind of bring that club together. It'll be interesting to see over the next few days what happens, because I'm pretty sure that Martin O'Neill is a sensible enough, smart enough, and intelligent enough man to see that this needs everybody pulling in the one direction. This isn't just simply about putting Martin O'Neill back a seat and Celtic automatically win this game. For all the positive feeds in there as well, that Celtic's going to Barry, I've no pointing this at you, but for all the ones that Celtic's going to win the league by 10 points, where you can get that confidence for the new as well is fucking baffling me. I would love for it to happen, but there's much more hoops for us to jump through, Kev, than simply just getting Martin O'Neill in the seat. So it'll be very interesting to see over the next few days the other things that's going to happen now, because I am pretty sure that you'll see other dominoes starting to fall in the way of Celtic supporting side. But just on your last thoughts on that, Kevin, brother.
I think there's still a massive gulf between them. I think you've lucky to see them back this season, to be honest with you. Just that, as Barry says, there just seems to be that there's nothing in between them to even get them together now, and I don't see how. I honestly don't see how they resolve it. But hopefully everything can get resolved sooner rather than later. Yeah. We can get United as one and start getting behind this team again and start running them onto the success we've been used to. But it's not going to be a quick fix, I don't think. Hopefully it is, but I don't think it is.
Andy, what is the fix? What is the fix you think there? Just for that specific thing, what is the fix? Is it?
You've got to sit down and talk for a start. So there's got to be face-to-face meeting. Until that happens, then nothing can be agreed. Nothing can be put out in front. And listen, responsibility comes in two ways sometimes, you know. So I think Celtic also need to take responsibility in the manner in which they've banished the focal part of support and the effect that that's had on the atmosphere. So they need to take responsibility. Again, you're into red tape stuff when it comes to taking responsibility for stuff that's meant to be going up for court, and obviously 5 individuals out of 200 members of an ultras group, or how many there is a pretty ridiculous situation to be in. For me, it's aligned for the board perfectly to give them an excuse to ban them, and it was absolutely. Listen, see if Nancy came in and actually hit the ground running, and we were getting really good results. There's no way the GB would be let back into that stadium. I don't think so. I think it was their intentions to ban them for good. Is there a chance of it happening? I certainly hope so. I just don't know, because look at, all you need to do is look at the game at Tannadice and the things that have happened for there, and you've got the Mackay stonning laughing. His contempt for the.
Yeah.
Honestly, I know Peter going on about Nicholson and all that, but he is the first man I would boot out the door. His attitude.
You've got me on page with that one, by the way. You've got me on page with that one.
It's an absolute disgrace that that man is still in his position after publicly humiliating Celtic fans and laughing at them. He would be the first one out the door for me. So until they get in front of each other and actually discuss things, nothing will happen. And whether that's going to happen is an even bigger question.
The thing is, like, there's a few. I've said it before. There's a few folk in the group that are probably have stepped back for the group that are late 50s, 60s. I've been in it for day one, and are people that be more than capable and have had in the past discussions with this board, not to have some sort of ongoing process. I mean, that hand mob got away with murder at fucking Ibrox, and I hate comparing myself to them, but you've got times. Look at them firing rockets out of their goalkeeper seats and everything. And they've got the fun weapons stashed in the stadium. The whole shebang. Two of their top fucking crew are well, I'm not good in that road, they're, you know, they're very dodgy individuals. So there's comparisons to be drawn, and the Green Brigade get the crime of supporting political causes that our board. That's the very one I was talking about, Ryan. That's the very fella, and our board dress up the support. Let's be honest, for Palestine, because let's call a spade, and some sort of alleged fracas that took place at this Falkirk game, which resulted in the dramatic news of 5 people being charged with the most spurious charge you can get, which is a breach of the peace. And I'm led to believe, and again, this is sitting down hand information, but I'm led to believe that all are very, very confident that the charges will be thrown out. So what happens then? What happens? Let's fast forward, and I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen. What happens then if the 5 people charged get thrown out? How does the club? I mean, in our eyes, the club couldn't look any worse as a functioning board. But how then does that look for a legal point of view? For so many points of view. So this is where they've took us in this. This is where the board have took us to distract. And let's not get away from the fact of what this is all for. It's a distraction for the incompetence. The board nobody would do their job correctly, and that in itself is so fucking cynical, so cynical that it's almost beyond belief. So you're writing me up, T-Hog, ain't you?
I thought the law books were the other way about, that you'd actually need to be proven guilty before you actually get done in. But anyway, I know that Celtic fans sitting there like that. Come on, boys, fight on it. But good attempt, brother. Good attempt. But guys, listen, I'm just realising that the time is very much getting on there.
Once or twice, James.
For a Monday night in our usual wee hour on a Monday as well, we've certainly bypassed that. Great. But I'm really, really glad that we did that tonight as well, because as I say, it's a good day to be a Celtic fan after the shite that we went through at the weekend there as well. It's good to see that the club is pushing forward on a forward direction. There is many steps to take on that forward direction to get us to a place where we can all get together as one and basically start to fucking ram everything right up anybody's arses as well who spoke indifferent about Celtic Football Club in the last wee while. We are starting that process now, ladies and gentlemen. Your Celtic Supporters Podcast will spearhead that. We will spearhead that absolutely all the way. And thank you very much for spending time with us tonight. Gentlemen, before we say goodnight, has anybody got anything they want to get off their chest or anything they want to say before we say our goodbyes? Kevin, I don't know if you're paused there with your finger up, but when you go, Kev?
Hell, keep the faith.
Hell, keep the faith. Anything else?
There's one that listen, a battle has been won. There's still a war to win, though.
Yes. Andy?
They forget that.
I need a jobby.
Well, it's a good thing we're bringing this to an end, buddy. You can go and find that bucket in the back of your trailer, mate. But guys, listen, Kevin, Barry, Paul, and Andy, thank you very much.
Just to say, I'll not be on Friday. I'm away to Lanzarote on Friday, so I'll be away. I know. I mean, I think that was the only thing that saved my saving grace when I stopped it in here on Sunday. Whatever time it was.
Did you have to pay for a holiday this weekend, mate?
Aye, the part of the holiday. I think I'd been stuck out the other way.
Right.
But anyway,
we'll have a team together for Friday anyway as well. So guys, we will be with you Friday night as always for a Friday night show. We will look forward to another game at Celtic Park on Saturday and look forward with a bit of excitement. I think this one as well, because Celtic Park's not been the same place for the last wee while as well. But we will be there Friday night to see you through the gateway to your weekend as always. Guys, as always, thank you for your time. Thank you for your contributions. Remember, we will be keeping you informed of the podcast stuff and the membership stuff as well. So me and the boys will get a chat this week about that. But as always, stay safe, stay blessed, stay Celtic, and we will see you on Friday. Your CSP is out of here. Boom.